So I wanted to start off giving Jay over at the Modern Minuteman credit for inspiring this video with his March article of this year about be more frontiersman, less operator. It's on a Substack, and you should definitely go check this out. I will have it linked in the description below, if it lets me. Either which way, I will find a way to link it to this video. But definitely worth a read. But why I wanted to bring this up is, all of us in the Minuteman sphere, the survival sphere, prepper, homesteader sphere, we all have the thing that we gravitate to. Whether it's guns, gardening, bushcraft, any of the Minuteman stuff, tactics, training, as far as like going to schools and things like that. I think all of us gravitate to the thing that we enjoy the most. And why wouldn't you? And I'm not saying don't do that. I think that we will have a case where we'll need people that have specialized in stuff. That doesn't mean that we don't all need to be individuals with a broad skill set. Whether that's some sort of construction, whether it's like an old world style construction of being able to, make a log cabin, or leather crafting from animals that we've killed, tanning them, things like that off the landscape. Even some things such as like learning to like whitewater raft and all of these different things would go into something that is going to come in handy down the road. All of these life experiences have a little bit of overlap with other things that are going to be going on. None of the outdoor skills and old world skills such as blacksmithing and, trapping or any of those things are going to be time wasted. And all of us, I think, need to step back every once in a while. And that doesn't mean do the thing that you enjoy the most. Like, I really do think that there's a case for having people be really good at one thing and be a jack of all trades in the rest of it. But we definitely need to work on having that broad skill set. Because I can say, as a guy myself in the preparedness, survivalist Minuteman community, I probably gravitate more towards the bushcraft end of things. Me and my wife, we do gardening, and we've kind of learned over the years that it's best to step back and focus on a few things and get good at those and then expand out, But just broadening your horizons is not going to be one of those things that you're going to be like, oh man, I wish I didn't do that. It's one of those things that I think is going to be necessary for everybody going forward. The group that would come together to be successful isn't just going to be, these are the people that farm, these are the people that go out, and these are the shooters, and they're always out on patrol, and these are the people who sew and take care of the animals and whatever else. That will end very badly if your camp gets raided, and all the people who know how to grow food get a solution 762 to the frickin' dome. You don't want that. You don't want to have a group of people that don't have at least some overlap in a serious, workable way. You want to have a proficiency at all this stuff. Gunfighting, gardening. You want to be a militant farmer, a frontiersman militant farmer. That's how the people are going to survive if things really hit the fan, I believe. Overall, you want a group of people that's going to have an experiential frame of reference that have been out and done all of these things more than just a few times, but have made a lifestyle of gathering skills and putting them into practice and making them part of their existence. The people who lived through the late 1800s and the early 1900s, those people had a broad skill set because they had to. We've been really fortunate in America in the last, I'd say, 100 years that we haven't had to do those things. We're on this on-time delivery thing where everything is in a warehouse and you just order it and now it's coming to your house. And it's getting more easy for people that are lazy to just not even have to go to the store. You can just order stuff to your front door now. We can't afford to be people that are just sedentary and ordering things to their house and not getting out and doing things and learning the skills that we're going to need if things really go to crap. We're going to need people that have actually been out gardening and have had success in their gardens. We're going to have people that have done serious trapping and know how to acquire those resources, tan the hides, make garments out of them. We need people that know the trees. What's a 4-season resource that, I mean, you use it for so many different things year round. It's the trees, whether it's getting some edibles off of them, medicine from them, or just wood to do all the other things, boiling water, for drinking, for cooking, for bathing, all of that stuff. I mean, even just the basic skills of knowing how to cook on a fire. You can screw up your food over a fire. I mean, me, I'll eat it if I burn it, but there's a lot of people more picky than me. You know, people are going to have to get over food aversions. The kind of people that have only just bought stuff in the market and haven't actually went out and shot something and actually had to process that down and cook it. There's a lot of people going to have to get over being squeamish about going out and hunting. It's going to be a required skill. And granted, I don't think that you can depend on that to feed your family over the long term, because there's going to be a lot of people vying for that. There's going to be a lot of things that are shot out. But when the opportunity arises, you're going to have to be able to actually kill and process it down. And if you haven't done that, you need to get out and make that a priority to learn that. Most of these animals, it's all the same basic process of going through. Most of it is overlap. There's a few specific things between different animals that you might want to learn to make it easier to not ruin some of the meat. But in general, it's the same basic process. Learning to preserve that is kind of next on the list. And this isn't really to make a list. It's just to throw ideas out there. You know, you are far better off being a Minuteman frontierman than the tactical guy that has all the stuff, the Gucci rifle, the nods, and none of this stuff is stuff you shouldn't have. If you've got the money to get it, if you're a person of means, by all means get it. And if you've got more money than you know what to do with, maybe hook up other people in your mag. You know, that's part of your gift to society, is being able to hook up the other people that you trust with stuff that is sort of outside of their ability to acquire. That's the thing about being a self-funded Minuteman, is that we don't have deep pockets of the federal government for resupply. We are our own resupply. If you don't know how to grow food or do any of these other skills, I don't even care if it's modern day contractor skills, you're going to need a roof over your head. There's not any of these things that are going to go to waste if you put them into practice. From fishing to canoeing to learning how to build a freaking pole barn or whatever. But the key is to just get out and do it, and to not completely, totally focus on the tactical end of things. I mean, I personally could stand and use a few classes as far as gunfighting and training and tactical stuff. That's something that I actually need to spend some money on myself. So I'm not saying don't do that, but any kind of laser focus needs to be resisted in, what should I say, in favor of the broad skill set. You've got to understand that the broad skill set's what's going to pay off, because if you're just a shooter, you're probably going to wind up, every problem's going to be a shooter problem. Like if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail, and you don't want to be the guy that's having to use that to survive and break your moral compass to the point that maybe you can't live with it, you know? And that's why a broad skill set is where everybody needs to be gravitating towards. And that means, using people that you know as trainers. That means training up, if you have a skill, being willing to pass that along to somebody, being willing to come alongside somebody or invite them to come do that with you, to where they start getting that experiential frame of reference. So, okay, I have hammered out a blade out of some cheap mower blades and made a machete out of it before. So I could probably do a few other things. I've made a few pairs of tongs, and you start getting more confident in these things that you previously had no concept of doing. And for the guy that doesn't have those people around him, there is nothing wrong with using YouTube as a resource. And that's what I did with this blacksmithing here. All the blacksmithing I've done, and it isn't a whole lot, was all stuff I just hunted up on YouTube and self-educated. That's what we're going to have to be doing as prepared citizens is self-educating in the areas where we don't have somebody in real life to train us. But you're not going to get a better teacher than a seasoned old guy that's been doing something for 50 years and can tell you all the lessons that he learned the hard way. That's one of the primary resources that you should be seeking out in your community. And most of those people will be more than happy to come alongside you and teach you something, because a lot of those people see where things are going and see that these skills are slipping away. And like many of us, we see that, but some of us don't have the skill to even pass along, but we have to be the new school that acquires these things. Acquire and propagate is the name of the game. When you acquire the skill and you pass it along, you are overall bettering your society and the people around you. And that will give you a frame of reference to where you can be like, okay, what are the tools that I have and what are the tools that I would need to fill in the gaps and give me more capability later on. Everybody likes the tool side of things, especially the gun side. But have you considered buying a draw knife? Have you considered maybe learning how to flesh out hides and get you some like stretchers and things like that? You get you a few traps and you might get the bug to actually go get a bunch more once you've bagged a few coyotes and got a fox and learned how to tan that out. You're gonna get the bug for all these things that, the tools that would help you in a broader skill set. You really can't go wrong with having a good full-on mechanics set of tools. There's no guarantee that there isn't going to be electric and shit hit the fan. It could just be spotty. You could have electric 3 hours a day, but those tools are going to come in handy in that. You might have a solar setup. Those tools are going to come in handy in that. If you know electrical, you're going to be a lot more proficient at hooking up a solar setup and maintaining that. And you're going to have to maintain property. You're going to have to maintain domiciles, different pieces of equipment you're going to have to maintain. You're going to have to learn to scavenge off of broke equipment or equipment that's kind of been let go and is sort of in disrepair, but you still have another usable piece of equipment that you can cannibalize parts off of from the other one. You're going to have to be a jack of all trades, master of none. From gardening to small engine repair to electrical to learning how to feed your family off the land as much as possible and growing your own food. And that's really what I'm trying to get at here. All of us have room to grow, and people around us more than willing to teach us. We are a society with all of the information of humanity available to us, essentially on our phone, with very few exceptions. There isn't any reason, there isn't any good excuse not to be branching out from what is the fun side of the prepping sphere for us personally. Whether if you're pigeonholed into the gardening thing, you should probably learn the outdoor cooking stuff and then move on to some sort of hunting thing. Every year, at least pick some kind of skill to broaden your horizons. There's a deer season every year. There's a fishing season every year. There's all of these opportunities that we have with an endless amount of different people online and in our lives that could teach us. We're at the beginning of a new year in 2025. We're right at the beginning of spring. If you wanted to learn the local plant life and what's edible, even if it's just 5 or 6 things that you learned over the summer, that's more than you already know. Make sustainable, attainable goals. If it's a weight loss thing, then work on that. If it's map reading and compass stuff, then set a goal to learn that and to find those resources. You can find most of them for free. I can promise you that. Again, if it's a tactical training thing and you're not really up to speed on that, then you should be doing that. Whether it's finding a competent person locally or going to a school. The point is, make a promise to yourself within the next year that you will attain some level of new proficiency outside of your favorite thing and become a broader, more prepared human being. The information is out there. The people that would train you are out there. All you have to do is decide to make yourself available as often as possible to those people. So I want to finish this up again and shout out Jay over at the Modern Minuteman. Go check out his Substack and check out his March article, and it's sort of like a magazine thing on the article. Go check that out. You'll be glad you did. Go check out his channel. Go sub to him over there. One of the nicest dudes in this community that I've had the opportunity to talk with in limited scope, but a great guy, and totally worth your time going and subbing to both of those things, and check out the article. And as always, thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.